Oluneye Oluwole is in New York to attend a book signing event organized in her honor by Sisters Uptown Bookstore in Harlem. The book, Serve with Heart and Might, is her political memoir, chronicling her experience in the male-dominated terrain of Nigerian politics.
My debut in politics started way back in 2003 when I was given the opportunity to serve on the board of tourism in my state, which is Ogun State, southwest of Nigeria.
Set against the background of her own personal challenges, Serve with Heart and Might explores the need to ensure women participation in the development and political process across Africa to create a more progressive polity in which all the talents and resources of citizens are harnessed for the good of all. It also gives a vivid account of how a woman, driven by the genuine passion to serve, can navigate the political terrain in Africa to accomplish her purpose for the good of society.
Women in politics, they have a very, very vital role because traditionally the woman has been used to keeping things together, to keeping the house going. So if you look at our nation as a big house, you realize that the woman has a role to play.
Serve with Heart and Might is about understanding the perspective of the woman, why the woman wants to come to the limelight. It is not to take the position from the men. It is not to compete with the men. It is not to say women can do it better. It is to say that as a woman, as a nurturer, you are expanding the possibilities, your potentials that you have.
A growing number of young African women are graduating from universities with skills that can help build a sustainable future for the African continent. While many accomplished African women are proving their mettle in diverse fields of human endeavor, it is proven that women are very capable of holding their fort, assuming and sustaining leadership positions. It is no gainsaying that discrimination against them and their exclusion from development and political process is coming at a huge cost to the continent. With the present socio-political environment in Africa, coupled with the gross mismanagement of Africa's resources, it is arguable that male dominance in politics portends a rather bleak future for the continent, and the male gender can no longer sustain the relegation of women to the background, fringes, or worse still, the traditional roles as homemakers.
Things have actually changed. A lot, it's going back to the 60s, our mothers were not as emancipated as, say, we are today. And in a way, we also have to thank our own fathers that saw the importance of getting us women educated. I think now that you have a lot of women that are educated, it's becoming more and more obvious that with education, there's really no difference in terms of execution of things, right? I think what used to happen in the old days is you have to remember that a lot of our mothers were homemakers. A lot of them were not educated, right? So the way they reason things completely different from the way we reason things now. So if you say to a man, if a man is still saying in 2015 that, oh, the woman cannot do, then I feel that that man himself needs to be educated, needs to go out there and actually see what's going on.
Half of the world population is female. This demographic has largely been excluded from political process and governance for centuries in most parts of the world, especially in Africa and the developing world. Still considered subpar with men, women struggle to gain access and assert themselves in politics and enterprise, the result being the inability of society to harness their ingenuity, creativity, and intellect for the greater good, shaping the future of their communities and creating a better world. Sometimes it is as mundane as a petty struggle for dominance that keeps a woman down. But in most cases, it is the fear of the male gender about unsettling the status quo, and thus losing the patrilineal privileges conferred through tradition and culture for generations.
We need to actually begin to change our mindsets. And this actually goes to the roots of our culture. It's a cultural thing. We need to change our cultural perspective on some of these issues, right? So it's not just a mere case of, okay, because my husband our husbands are educated, so they understand. I think it's more than that. And there's also the family pressures as well. Because we culturally have this thing whereby your husband might not even say anything. And it's maybe the mother-in-law or the sister-in-law that begins to question, oh, by the way, why is your wife out for so long? I see your wife at meetings at hotels with all these, they begin to put in ideas.
And also for the women, there is that societal fear that how will people perceive me? What would people say that, oh, your husband, he doesn't have a control over her. She's wayward, she's too forward, she's too this. So she has a lot of things to deal with in the society. From the immediate family, the in-laws are there, the friends are there, even the extended family, they're there to say you're going beyond your boundaries. And that sort of inhibits, it restricts the woman. And that's why you're seeing that women have not fared very well in assuming such roles.
However, there are certain natural instincts that suggest that women can fare well in politics. In fact, it has been proven that in the majority of cases where women have taken the baton of leadership, they have accomplished much more than their male counterparts. Could this be as a result of their nature as nurturers, their ability to multitask, their discernment, passion, or compassion?
A woman does things from her heart, and she does everything with all of her might.
Traditionally, our role as a woman in the house, if your son comes home and says, "Mommy, I'm hungry," you're not going to spend 20, 30 minutes thinking, "Oh, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it?" No. Instinctively, you think, let me get the first thing I can lay my hands off and get the child fed. And so, by nature, women are able to make quick decisions. We discern things. We are able to interact. We are able to bring people together. We tend to be team builders as well. We tend to also be change agents.
We're wired differently. We bring different things to the table. The man has a particular path of how he reasons, of how he makes decisions, and the woman has her own path, and she comes with a lot of passion, because most of what the woman does is from the heart. And when you do things from the heart, you're emotional, you're seen as being too passionate for the man, because the man is not given to having such feelings.
A significant argument against the involvement of women in political process is the unsettling of society's norms and modes of integration. How will the home, the unit of everyday society, survive without the woman in her traditional role of caring for and nurturing the children and her husband? Should the women's desire to be more relevant politically come at the detriment of the home, or is there a way to achieve some equilibrium in this regard?
To be honest with you, I personally don't think it should impact the family unit, and I use myself as an example, right? I am a woman that not only do I have 4 children, right? I have a very, what I would call, hectic job, and I also travel a lot. And I still have to keep my household going, right? I've come up with workarounds. And one of the things that makes the house continue to grow is because my husband and myself, we work together as a partner. In fact, I think it benefits a child to see how the mother is able to multitask in multiple roles, how they can actually be effective at doing it. It's a skill, and it's a good skill set. It's a skill set that you not only can use in the house, it's a skill set you can actually take out there and use.
Aside from the welfare and stability of the home, women in Africa are also confronted by the biases and prejudices inherent in tradition and culture.
Culturally, women are not politicians, they are not leaders, right? So they are, to the average person on the streets of Nigeria, a woman going into politics is actually stepping out of their boundary. They are stepping into somebody else's domain, right? That's the way it's looked upon, right? And when you start stepping into somebody else's domain, you're looking for trouble, you're looking for fights, right? You need to have a strong personality to be able to go through some of the things that you are going to encounter, because you are going to be fought from different angles, right? You're going to struggle to find somebody that's going to say, you know what, keep the fight on, keep going on.
The role of women in the United States has been, I guess, opened up to many things because of the women's movement back in the 1960s. You know, a lot of things were fought for on this side of the water in the Americas, so that women would have more opportunity. So more recently, not only do you see them in politics, you see them in the workforce doing construction, driving buses, driving trains, flying airplanes. So I think our role, a woman's role in the United States, is noticeable and present. Councilwomen, congresswomen, we have a more we have a large presence in many areas in the workforce as well as in politics.
The world is developed through the centuries, basically through the concept of peer review. Thus, achievements in one part of the world, in a particular sector, becomes an impetus for another part for growth and development. With the phenomenal accomplishments of women in North America, Europe, Asia, Latin America, and some other parts of the world, Oluneye seeks to inspire women in Africa and justify the need to engage them actively in development and political process. She has come to New York not only to attend a book signing held in her honor and connect with other women who are impacting their community positively through service, but more importantly, her objective is to explore the travails and accomplishments of women leaders and politicians across the globe whose stories can inspire others to greatness.
Serve with Heart and Mind is a journey to seek the solution, to look and mirror, the lives of women on that side of the divide, to understanding how they have been able to do it, learn the lessons, and actually bring back that to Africa.
Oluneye mirrors the realities and impact of women in politics and leadership experience across the continents through in-depth comparative analysis as part of the inspiration and mobilization process. She uses the stories of these women as evidence of the possibilities and benefits accruable to a society when women participate actively in development and political process. She also uses her own personal triumph as impetus and encouragement for women in Africa and the possibilities that abound in spite of the challenges.
You find out that women, or these young ladies, they thrive in the university, in the post-secondary school era. They thrive, they are on top of their game, they're first-class materials, second-class upper in the university, and boom, when they get out of the university, I'm talking about the African continent, you find out that while their careers are going down in terms of, harnessing all their potentials and all the possibilities that are before them, the men or their boy counterparts, theirs are going up.
Perhaps the most sacrosanct of Oluneye's pursuit is the empowerment of the next generation of women leaders in Africa. Oluneye is on a quest to inspire these young women to arouse their political consciousness and sensibilities, to unleash their potentials, dreams, and aspirations, and their goals as the change agents Africa so deserves. Oluneye is passionate about the next generation of women leaders and concerned about the issues and events that shape their lives, perspectives about life and future. She rises to the task of engaging these young women and future leaders in the development and political process through the compelling and inspiring stories of women leaders around the world for the bigger picture of building the future of Africa and the Africa of their dream.
My kids at the last general election, they actually had their own mini election in school. Yes, they had their own mini election in school. This actually introduces kids to the importance of these roles, right? I think those are the sort of things that we need to start implementing in Nigeria as part of our educational process. The academics is important, agreed. The physical aspect of it is important, but also as part of that academics, we need to introduce this sort of political, how would I call it, the political knowledge. I call it knowledge. I don't want to say forum. I mean, we don't want to turn them into politicians, but they need to understand what the impact of our political process on them now and on their future.
In addition to creating a veritable television and social media platform for this project, Oluneye is touring tertiary institutions in major cities in Africa to engage these young women and men as co-partners in development and political process, to equip them with the tools necessary to participate in development and political process, as well as contribute their quotas to the development and future of Africa. Ultimately, establish networks and alliances across continents to equip the next generation of leaders in Africa that will, quote, serve with heart and might.
It is about building Africa and having that understanding that the boy child and the girl child have roles to play. And the Africa of tomorrow is not Africa that is going to be built by just the men alone. Things are different. New frontiers are opening. New possibilities are opening. Girls are doing fantastic things that if they are not properly harnessed, Africa is going to stay stagnant. And that is not the Africa that we want.